Well, it is time for our movie binge of horror films. Are you ready?
I am always ready for this time of year.
You've made popcorn.
I have made popcorn.
We have drinks.
We have drinks.
If you guys didn't know, every single Halloween, my wife and I do a special type of video. The past 2 years, we've done special things that are on our channel, and this year's no different. We're going to watch some horror films, some that she's never seen that I would love for her to see, and some that I've never seen that she's been recommending. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch the films, we're going to actually have this marathon and share it with you guys. Then as soon as the film ends, we're going to give you our instant reaction. And our first film up is called Trick or Treat.
You gotta be kidding me.
I hate Halloween.
Well, we've just watched Trick or Treat. It's always been a favorite of mine, but my wife had never seen it, and I'm very curious to know what your thoughts were on that film.
I really liked it.
Yes. Awesome. Very good.
I think it also helps that the main character's name is Sam.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Chris bought this shirt for me in anticipation of me liking it.
It was sort of like, I was like it. You have to.
Yeah, he kind of was like indoctrinating me to it. It's actually really well done. I can't wait for the sequel to come out next year.
I would love for there to be a sequel. I've heard that, it's like pre-production or something.
I think they said it's pre-production at the moment.
In December, we have Krampus coming up, which is by the same director, which is a Christmas-themed horror film. So he's sticking with the holiday-themed horror. I'm hoping that's good. One of the things I've always liked about Trick or Treat is that it blends so many different stories into one movie so well. And it's one of those movies where as you watch it, little hints are given, little pieces of information you need, and then you don't really know what's happening until maybe the end of the film. Another little puzzle piece is added that lets you understand that mystery that was set up in an earlier story. And it's actually really masterful, I think, and kind of an underrated horror film.
There's, 4 stories intersecting in this? So it's like, you kind of have to pay close attention to every little thing that kind of loops back around, because it gets a little tricky there when you're a little confused. You're like, okay, wait, what? And then you realize that you have to backtrack to a different part of the night or fast forward to another part of the night to kind of understand what's going on.
How do you feel about the main horror monster of this movie being named Sam?
It's fitting.
I agree.
So, kicking off our next film, Wreck.
Very excited to show my wife this. It is one of the few found footage horror films that I actually think is clever and innovative. So let's get started.
Pablo, grábalo todo. Por tu puta madre.
So, we just finished Wreck. We're in the middle of this movie marathon. I gotta eat some popcorn to keep the energy up because we got like a lot more movies to talk about. What are your thoughts on Wreck?
Creepy. Couple jump scares that you don't anticipate. Considering it was probably made for a really low budget, it has some better CGI than a lot of the horror films that are made with a lot bigger budgets.
Well, it's more makeup themed, really. It's like the makeup in the movie is just crazy. Like there are moments where I'm just like, oh god, like no, like there's a
couple cringe-worthy scenes.
The biting of the meat of the neck, the one zombie just like starts pulling it. Really great makeup, really innovative. This is a Spanish language horror film, foreign. Not something I get to talk about too much on my channel. A lot of you guys have been asking me to do more foreign horror. And one of the things I love about foreign horror is that it seems like they can't always take... You can have popcorn. It seems like they take more chances than American horror films do. They're not as concerned about being mainstream or fitting into the perfect little audience requirements. And very disturbing sometimes. We have another foreign horror film we're going to be talking about here in a minute. But what I really like about Wreck is that it feels in the moment. It feels really visceral. There isn't a scene that goes by in Wreck in which you don't feel like you're in this horrific moment where this zombie virus is outbreaking in this tiny little apartment.
One of the biggest things that I noticed about this film that is not as usually done is it doesn't keep changing who's holding the camera. It's pretty much just the cameraman, one cameraman the whole time. Usually in those found footage films, they keep shifting who has the camera. True. So it gets a little obnoxious because it's like it goes from one type of shaky cam to another type of shaky cam. But this guy's actually a professional person with a real camera who's recording this for a news show. So it actually is like pretty clear photography, so you're not getting that cliched, grainy look.
It isn't quite as motion sickness inducing as some other found footage horror films because it really does feel genuine. A lot of times when I watch American found footage movies, it feels like they're trying to make it look realistic. And in their trying to make it look realistic, they shake it so much and they do things and they have things terribly filmed. But having the main guy be a cameraman, at least, even when he's crazy and running from zombies, he's at least trying to still get a semi-good shot. And I gotta talk, the last 10 minutes of this movie truly terrify me. Whatever that thing is...
Dark screen.
That weird, like, thing, like, wandering around, scared the shit out of me the first time I saw it, legitimately.
I was kind of anticipating that there was something that had been in the building that infected everybody, so I was like, it wasn't as big of a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's got to be one cliched dark room scene where it goes pitch black, and I was waiting for that because they hadn't had that yet. And of course, it comes finally at the end, so it's like, okay.
I do remember you jumping when the little boy went like, "Rah!" like towards the screen when they put the camera up in the attic. I remember you were like, whoa! I was like, yeah.
Was that a little boy or was that a girl?
It might have been a girl. I don't know.
Because the experiments were all on a little girl in all the photos, and then
that makes it more creepy. That makes it more creepy when you're not sure. Let's move on to our next film, but did you want to order some pizza or something?
Pizza and chicken?
Pizza and chicken sounds good. We have to continue the movie marathon. We need food. We need fuel. Let's move on to our next film. This is actually a film that both of us have seen and have enjoyed very much. We're going to watch it anyway, and still, we haven't seen it in years. So we're going to give you our reaction of Monster House, which is a very fun family film.
Don't look back! I look back!
Monster House.
Stupid house.
Directed by Gil Kennan.
A lovely pepperoni and cheese and chicken and coleslaw dinner just for us. All right, so we just watched Monster House in our movie marathon, and we actually both have funny stories about this movie. Mine involves Cartoon Network. The first time I saw this, it was on Cartoon Network. I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. I didn't get a chance to see it on Blu-ray or DVD. Cartoon Network used to have like these weekend movie night specials, and I think it was around Halloween that they showed Monster House. And I remember it was one of those nights where I wasn't planning on watching anything. I turned it on, and it was so good. Like, it was actually very fun and had that warm adventure type feel with kids getting together to try to solve a mystery, and it just kept my interest. I ended up staying up for a lot longer than I thought I was watching Monster House. And you know what? It's still a lot of fun.
And my story with Monster House is I was in high school, and I actually got to see a private screening of this movie. I kid you not.
Wow, that's cool.
We got I was in marching band, and we were at Ohio Wesleyan College for marching bands. And my school rented out the movie theater because it was just a 2-auditorium theater by the campus. They showed us Monster House because it was like the only kid-appropriate movie that was out.
Gotcha.
Apparently. And you can imagine, this is a whole bunch of high schoolers watching a little kid's film. You want to know what's funny? I was a freshman, and we saw The Island, that sci-fi.
Yeah, Michael Bay.
The sci-fi one about all the people kept in the bubble. Okay, well, we had seen that the year before. And all the chaperones going, that was so inappropriate to show to kids. So next year, yeah, I'm not even kidding. So next year we got stuck with a kids film, and everybody loved it, even though it was a kids film. Yeah. So it's like a whole bunch of high schoolers sitting in an auditorium. You would expect a ton of noise, and it was actually silent the entire time. What
I like about Monster House is, as I said, it captures the feel of like kids discovering some mystery that I've always loved that. Growing up, I loved Goosebumps books. I love writing scary stories, and I've always loved movies that are able to somehow show just like young kids being like, wow, like this is such a cool, scary, creepy mystery. And Monster House did that really well.
I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, I have a predisposition for children's films. I really do. I like them a lot.
That's fine. No, I love animated movies. So continuing in our movie marathon of epicness, Shaun of the Dead. Let's watch this thing.
Is it clear?
No.
Oh my god. She's so drunk.
Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite horror comedies. It might be the best horror comedy of all time. I don't care if you throw out other titles. To me, this is my favorite horror comedy of all time. Edgar Wright did such an incredible job directing this movie. It's like every shot is set up to perfection. And I gotta talk about Simon Pegg in this movie. Simon Pegg is brilliant. This was the first time I ever really took notice of him. He had been in that show Spaced before, but I had never seen it. This was the first time that Simon Pegg just exploded into my life, and I was like, this guy is a comic genius. And you know what? He's an underrated actor, and I mean like a dramatic actor. He does really well in the Star Trek movies.
He really does.
But he's actually really good in this movie. Like the scenes towards the end where they're trapped in the pub. He's great, not just from a comic standpoint. He's actually really good in this film.
It's really hard to be funny. It really is. I can attest to the fact that I lack a sense of humor. I really do. He's always cracking jokes, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, see, if I make her laugh, I know it's funny. Because it's one of those things where I'm like, I got this great joke, and she's just like...
I do that a lot. Comedies and me don't usually get along, so I was like, I love all of the 2 Cornetto trilogy that I've seen.
Yeah.
Because I've not seen Hot Fuzz yet. Should be...
Which I will rectify.
Yeah, you have to rectify that one. We keep meaning to watch it, but there's always so many other things to watch, and it's like,
The Cornetto trilogy is great, and Shaun of the Dead kicked it off very well, and to some people it's still their favorite of the trilogy. I think it might be my favorite. The zombie element of it is terrific. It perfectly parodies zombie films, and I don't know, it's a hilarious movie. There's so many great hidden things to the directing as well, like the shot where Simon Pegg is walking to a supermarket and on a normal day, and then the shot after the zombie outbreak occurs. It's the same shot with all of the same movements, except everything is crazy and he's not noticing it yet. Edgar Wright did a brilliant job with this movie. It's one of my favorite horror comedies. It is my favorite horror comedy.
I don't usually like comedies, and I liked this one, so I get an A+ in my book because of that, because it's like, I don't like comedy, and you made me laugh.
Good.
I applaud your talents.
Good job, Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg. Good job, guys.
I really do like him as an actor, though.
Me too. I hope they make more movies together.
I sometimes find, sometimes comedians turn into, the best actors.
They really do.
Robin Williams.
Jim Carrey.
We're going to be kicking off our next one. I am refueling with a little bit of caffeine, because we're on how many hours of movies now?
Oh, a lot. And it's time to move on to the next one.
Okay. We're going on to Jennifer's Body, and we literally just picked this up at Walmart earlier.
Yep.
So Chris gets to open it before we watch it.
Yep, I have.
To smell that wonderful brand new Blu-ray smell.
Never seen this film ever.
Which I'm really surprised, but then again...
Yeah, I missed it when it came out in theaters, and you've been recommending it to me. I really like this new artwork, by the way, that Walmart did. That's awesome.
It really is cool. It's better than I almost kind of wish it was a slipcover, but
yeah,
it's still a cool...
That'd be nice.
Little thing.
I love my slipcovers.
We do. We really do.
What is with this damn security sticker?
It's childproof.
Yeah, they really don't want me to watch this. It's a bad omen.
Have you ever noticed that the childproof things, you always have to go get a kid to open because the adults can't open it? I swear when I was a kid I could open them, but now as an adult I can't get them open.
This is an omen, Sam.
Oh.
Walmart doesn't want me to watch this. I'm kidding. All right. Jennifer's Body, here we go.
Thought you only murdered boys.
I go both ways.
I will finish you if I have to.
Okay. You can barely finish gym class.
Well, we just finished Jennifer's Body. I appreciate the recommendation, hun.
What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if it was for me. I think there were some things about it that I really liked. For instance, I thought it was visually really good looking. A really good looking movie. I'm not just talking about Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried, but the visual aesthetic of the movie was impressive. The director, I just looked her up. I had no idea she had made Aeon Flux with Charlize Theron, which I thought was atrocious. But this film was far better. I think my main issue with it was actually the screenplay. There was something about the way the tones between the horror and the comedy elements and the satire elements, they clashed a little bit too much for me I wish it was a little bit more fun than it is. But I don't hate it. Some people hate this movie. I personally don't hate it.
I've always liked it. As stupid as it sounds, I find the comedy in it a little bit more because I have a twisted sense of humor, I guess. I've always enjoyed it, but I guess I can see where people wouldn't enjoy it. unless they saw it in like the right situation. When I saw this, I was with another group of girls, so it was like
Girl party.
it was a girl party. So it was like, yeah, this is like one of those empowering badass bitch movies where it's like the girl actually kind of turns into the one she was trying to fight through the whole thing, kind of. She becomes the demon she was fighting.
I think my main issue, like I said, was the screenplay. It was written by Diablo Cody, who did Juno, young adult, and she has a very subversive way of writing where it's in your face, like where you're like, here's my writing, and just like it. And I don't know, some aspects of the screenplay didn't really work for me, but
I can see that. I understand your point of view on that. I think, again, I have more fond memories of it because of watching it with a group of girls.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can totally understand that, honestly. There's tons of movies that maybe aren't the greatest movies out there, but
Napoleon Dynamite.
That's one, sure, but like I have like fun connections with them, like from like how I saw them the first time, and so I end up liking them more. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I have several like that, and this is definitely one of them. Also, you gotta admit, the tits in this look amazing.
And we're moving on. Do you care if that's in there?
No.
You don't care?
No.
Okay. Okay, we are nearing the end of this marathon. It's been a fun night of pizza and drinks and popcorn and blood. Now we're going to experience The Orphanage. Now, my wife hasn't seen this film. It's a foreign film. I think it's pretty special. If you don't like it, that's cool. But I personally do, and I'm excited to see what you think of it.
The Orphanage.
Well, I think I'm losing my wife here. It's getting late in the day. We've been watching a lot of movies. We just finished The Orphanage. I think it's extremely well directed. I love the musical score behind it. I think it's well acted, and I like the mystery behind it as well. And if you've never seen the film, the way it all ties together at the end for me made the rest of the experience even more emotionally impactful. So I'm curious.
Crying.
There was a slight little tear. I will not lie. A slight little tear. Just one slight tear. So I'm curious, having not seen the film, what are your thoughts on it since you were a fresh viewer tonight?
A little too much foreshadowing for me.
I can see that. I can see how it would be hard. Like, you don't want to reveal too much, but at the same time, you don't want it to seem out of left field. Spoilers if you've never seen The Orphanage. Essentially, what happens is their son goes missing, and unfortunately what actually happens is that he was actually just crawling around in this crawl space they didn't know they had, and he got trapped in there and died.
I saw the parallels with the story of the Peter Pan, where obviously when Laura was Wendy, where she left as a child and then eventually came back as an adult.
I just have a hard time figuring out how that told you that the kid was in the basement.
It didn't say. I didn't know he was going to be in the basement.
Okay.
I knew he was going to be dead in the house. Though.
Okay,
that they were going to find him somewhere dead in the house. And then after they showed the reel of the little boy in the basement room with the
creepy shit,
the film reel that they found, it's like, well, he's obviously there because they just told us that he's right there. Okay, so moving beyond the storyline, did you think that it was a well-made movie overall, like with good acting and visuals and everything? No, actually, I don't think the acting was all that good. Okay, so my wife recommends Jennifer's Body. Does not recommend The Orphanage. And that's our video. I really don't think it was It's fine. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us on this horror movie marathon. And maybe you'll do one as well. If you do, let us know in the comments below. Like, what is your favorite movie marathon you've ever had? Or are you planning a movie marathon? And if you didn't realize, which you probably did, I'm in a different background here. I'm actually in my basement right now. One of the things I've been requested a lot is to show you guys a little bit of this area and show you guys my home theater setup, as well as where her and I enjoy watching films and some of our little collectibles. So pretty soon, in fact next month, early November, I'm going to do a tour of our basement to show you guys some of the stuff that her and I enjoy collecting, as well as where we watch films and how I watch films down here, because sometimes it's fun to just have a movie marathon in your house. You don't always have to go out to the theater. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, honey, for joining me once again. Have you fallen asleep? We've been watching a lot of movies. So, guys, thank you very much. Have a lot of fun this year. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.